Okay, angels, first of all, people don't really know what angels are, but Swedenborg discovered in his visits in the Grand Human that angels are people. So in other words, we are called angels when we enter the heaven in our mind, see? And we are called devils when we enter the hell of our mind. So you can be either an angel or a devil depending on where in your mind you enter. Now, if you enter the heaven of your mind, you are activated by heavenly loves, such as goodness, innocence, loyalty, happiness, community spirit, and so on. Those are all the heavenly loves, and they are in your mind, and you can enter them. Now, you can also enter the hellish loves, like selfishness, cheating, being disloyal, being cruel, and so on. So those are all our hellish loves. Okay, we are angels and we are devils. So what we want to do is, what is the difference when we are in our heavenly loves, and what is the difference when we are in our hellish loves? But that's all it is. So what we need to do is to identify loves, and I have my students in my course do that because it's very useful for people to be able to tell the difference between the heavenly loves and the hellish loves so that they can choose.
When you make the choice to be in touch with God or Source, and you choose to be in alignment of walking the path of what that means, you'll always be supplied with the resources and the people and the means so that you can manifest your life in divine right order. Sometimes I find it's a little confusing to tell someone that it's easy to learn new things. It's easy to absorb this and apply new information to your life, especially when we're talking about higher spiritual understandings that may not make a lot of sense, especially to our left brain, conclusion-seeking mind.
Solution machine.
Angels are people who live in their heavenly loves. Devils are people who live in their hellish loves. So that's what Swedenborg discovered. There are no separate species of angels and devils.
Solution machine.
Okay, now, Swedenborg made a distinction for the first time between self and as of self. Now, people who are in their heavenly loves, they're called angels, they understand rationally that God is omnipotent, and therefore everything that it appears to them that they are doing from themselves, they know rationally that it can't be, that it's really God giving them the permission to do that. and if God doesn't give permission, they cannot do anything from themselves. This is what the angels call the as of self rather than the self. When you attribute the power to yourself, then what you're doing is changing the heavenly love into a hellish love. The heavenly love is, all this is from God, God is giving it to me, I'm enjoying it. The hellish love is, this is not from God, this is mine. In order to enjoy it, it has to be mine. So that's the contrast.
And then I promise you'll dream a different story altogether.
So to the angels, it is important that the feeling that they are free is very important, because human beings can't be happy unless they feel free. So angels, or people who are in the heavenly loves, act from those loves which come from God, but it feels like it's their own. And as long as they know it's God's, they are happy and it feels like their own. The minute that they start feeling that it's their own, they start losing it and getting depressed and falling out of their mental heaven.
Imagination, the inside of our heads, really is the most vast frontier.
In other words, the special nature of angels, which happens to all people who enter their heavenly loves and live in their heavenly loves, the special feature is knowing that they have absolutely no power, and that all their bliss and all their power is attributed to God. And they call that the as of self rather than the self. So if we want to understand correspondences which were revealed to Swedenborg, and Swedenborg describes them in his book so that we can actually make a science of correspondences, we need to consider the relationship between the physical body and the spiritual body. Okay? So the physical body, everybody knows, is divided into three systems. And they are known as the circulatory system, which contains the blood, the circulation of the blood, and the organs like the liver and the other internal organs that clean the blood. And then we have the respiratory system, which is the second system. The respiratory system, which is also pulmonary. So it also includes our functions of creating sounds and speaking. So you have the mouth and the throat and the nose, as well as the esophagus and the lungs. All that constitute the respiratory system. So the respiratory system in the spiritual body corresponds to the cognitive. So your thoughts correspond to the cognitive system, which is why I call the cognitive, I call it the cognitive respiratory system in your spiritual body. Now the affective, I call the affective circulatory system in your spiritual body. And then finally the sensory motor, that's your external body that is visible to the other people who are around you. Okay, so those are the correspondences in the systems. The circulation of the blood brings nourishment to all the organs and the muscles. Okay, so that's like the affective system in the mental body consists of the loves, the feelings, the desires, and the intentions. Those are the ones that feed the mental body. For instance, if you get in, for instance, the spiritual heat and the spiritual light that you get from the spiritual sun, those are all transformed into the loves of the affective circulatory system, because they are your nourishment. And the truths are the respiratory system. The loves and the truths work together. So the body, the physical body, is nothing but a copy in physical matter of how the spiritual body actually functions.